My name's Patricia Walls, and for about 40 years or so, I've been playing in energy, helping people. And what I really love to do is to give people tools to help themselves, which includes a lot of different things: the Hall of Records, activations. I teach people how to connect in to their higher consciousness, simple tools for protection and clearing their energy fields. So my process is, if you just want to close your eyes for a second and first notice how you feel, and you're probably not going to feel a lot because we've been clearing energy all weekend, right? So, but just notice how you feel. And this is my process. Archangel Michael, surround me now, surround us now, because I'm going to do it for the group. Surround us now with your column of white light and healing. And the purpose of that, so that you know, is to contain whatever is in your energy fields. Please cut, sever, remove, release by the roots now. All cords, all hooks, all negative implants, all curses and hexes of any kind, any form. All intentions of harm or failure. All siphons and controllers, manipulators. Removed by the roots now and returned to cinders 10,000-fold with consciousness. Please open up the light curtain above us now. I call to the highest light beings available to come, remove, release, and take to God's light for healing. All spirit attachments, entity attachments, ghost hauntings, energetic imprints, take all of those to God's light for healing now. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Light language is our first language. It's the universal language that everything speaks. Every known thing, everything that has consciousness, communicates through light language. And sometimes it is vocal, sometimes it is hand movements, sometimes it is body movements, sometimes it is just emitted off the body, and sometimes it is telepathic. So there's just so many different ways that we interpret that. I was writing symbols, I don't even know how long ago, maybe 30 years ago. I was doodling, writing symbols and not knowing what they were. I just thought I was doodling. And in 2015, somebody sent me an invitation to watch Dorian Light and Judy Satori. And they were speaking light language on the big stage, teaching people. And I found it very interesting. And then I met a sister who lived in Wales, UK, and she had just begun speaking light language, vocalizing it. And I thought, that's interesting, and I had a trip planned to the UK. And she agreed to drive down 6 hours to spend time with me. And when she came down, she gave me a light language transmission. And when I got back into the US, it was a really, really short time, I found myself beginning to vocalize the language of light.
Ba maien tu kuili intiwa amuish elike ule paanti alaye umaha mo beheti uko umbehenchi ikului paana nowe e mamo o kapopoe ahate doe machueli anduho moko bohamba alea andoho lipe.
A light language gallery is similar to a psychic gallery. It's where a group of people come together to receive transmissions. And so during a light language gallery, which takes about 2 hours, there's an explanation for what light language is, how I use it, what it's done for people, what it's done for me, and how to contact me. There are transmissions that occur, and a group transmission, and then there are individual transmissions that happen. That's a gallery. It's just a 2-hour sort of introduction to the language of light. But the Light Language Immersion Weekend is that. It is a full weekend from usually 1 p.m. on Friday until 1 p.m. on Sunday, and we are totally immersing ourselves in the language of light in all the ways that it is transmitted. And there's a lot that happens there, though. It's also about education. It's also about people expanding into their own gifts. And we have a lot of fun. So, light language books. I have 3 of them now. And my journey started I wrote my first book in 2021, I believe, Galactic Frequencies of Light. And the beings, I call them the beings, it's a collective of spirits that I work with. And I just call them the beings. And they were telling me that I needed to write a book. And I had written other books already, but I didn't feel as though I had enough information to fill an entire book about light language because I, hadn't been on my journey very long. And so I invited 3 other women who were light language transmitters to join me in a book. And it was called Galactic Frequencies of Light, and the lady from Wales was one of those. And then last May, as a matter of fact, a year ago, I published another book on light language because I had finally had enough experience to be able to speak intelligently about it and share. And every time that I have a light language gallery or immersion weekend, I learn new things because I'm a channel. And so when people ask questions about light language, I get to learn new things because the answer doesn't come from me. And so I wrote that Unlocking the Mysteries of Light Language, which this film is based on. And I wrote that book in, I think, May of 2023. And the week after I published that book, the being said, now you need to write a book that is just a book of codes. And they wanted me to have a book that consisted of 144 downloads. And they look like mandalas, but they're filled with light language symbols and transmissions, frequency transmissions. And so that book, it's also called Unlocking the Mysteries of Light Language, but it's a book of 144 codes. And that one has very little as far as explanation for what light language is. It's basically the book of codes that you are supposed to use. You can use it in a number of ways. You can use them you can put them under your pillow. Some people have said they put it under their pillows. You can use them to charge food and water or your stones. And mostly there's an iris transmission, our eyes, the windows to the soul. And so when you look at those codes, then you receive those transmissions, those downloads of information. And if I can add this, I recently learned that of the symbols, of the codes, what we're calling codes, they're filled with thousands and thousands of downloads of information, transmissions, healings, alignments, acknowledgments, expansions. And so every time that you look at one, then you are receiving all of that as much as your consciousness will allow at any given time because of the law of free will. I've learned a lot this weekend. We're on an immersion weekend right now, and I have learned new information thanks to the people who have attended. And so it could be that I will write another book on light language. Right now I'm writing a book on galactic earth beings, and it does have some light language information in it because galactic earth beings have all come to the understanding of the universal language. So that's included. Light language has brought me an amazing spiritual family. I've met so many people who are now transmitting light language in all the ways that they are, and it's helped me because so many people who are coming into the knowledge and the awareness of light language don't know what it is. They don't know what to do with it, and because I have a little bit of experience, I'm able to share with them and bring them some assistance and all of that. For a long time, I had people asking me, did I teach light language? And there are, I've noticed lately, probably in the last year, and this is 2024, so in the last year I've seen a lot of online classes for the language of light. But when people were asking me, did I teach light language, my first response was, no, you can't teach that. It's our language. Why would you need to learn it? You already have it. And then I realized that I teach it every time that I have a light language gallery. There's an introduction, there's some instruction, there's explanations, there's history of where it came from. And so I realized that I teach it all the time. And so yes, I teach light language through the galleries, through the books, through the immersion weekends, and you can, anytime that you receive or participate in the language of light, you are learning it. So the way to learn it best is to participate in that. Light language is channeled, and my understanding is that when you are channeling, you are not present. You are being what we call in the earth teachings a hollow bone. And so the information is not coming from you, it's coming from the universe, and whatever source at the time, whatever portion of light language needs to be transmitted, that's where it's coming from. And there are people out there, because light language, it's not that it's new, it's that it's the hottest ticket right now. And every time there's a hot ticket that people can make money on, they very often will jump on that and find a way to monetize it. And but the universe has a wicked sense of humor. And so I found that even people who are quote unquote faking being able to transmit light language, the joke's kind of on them, because once you agree to be a channel, the universe goes, oh, you want to channel light language. Well, you can practice for a while if you would like, but at some point you are going to begin to actually transmit it and channel it. And so I used to feel a certain kind of way about people who I could tell were faking it, so to speak. But then I watched those people and I watched them expand, and I watched them move into it and grow and heal. And so the universe has this. I'm not concerned about people faking it. I do have some plans, some future plans for a light language. Besides the Galactic Earth Being book, I also am traveling internationally and also locally with an amazing group of women. And everywhere that we go, we are sharing the language of light. And anytime that you channel the language of light, you are bringing in codes and frequencies of information, healings, alignments. And so everywhere that we go, we are bringing that healing and alignment to whatever and whomever needs it. We are planning an amazing conference, and I use the word amazing a lot. We're planning a conference in 2025. My niece, Dina Faye Gilmore, who is a filmmaker and director, award-winning, she and I are, and one other person, are coordinating a light language conference. And in my research, there's no one else doing a light language conference at present. There are light language online summits, but no actual in-person conference except one. There is one other in Arkansas. And we are planning to bring our light language conference to Colorado. And there's going to be sound healing involved, because sound is frequencies, vibrations of healing and alignment. It's just another form of the language of light. And we're real excited about that. We're just in the planning stages, so you will hear more about that. So I'd like to offer you a light language transmission, just to give you an idea. And what I'd like for you to do is to relax, receive, and release. And we say release because whenever you're receiving the language of light, you very often get thoughts or images or feelings. And sometimes people will say afterwards, because I'll usually ask for feedback, and they may say, I don't know why, but I was thinking of my high school sweetheart, and why in the world would that come up? Well, it came up to be released. And instead of just focusing on it and trying to figure out why you thought it, why is this coming up, just say release. And so different people feel different things. Some people, when they first hear the language of light, it feels like home to them, and that's an entirely different conversation. But so just relax, notice what you notice about your thoughts, feelings, or body, and just receive it. Receive these downloads of information, receive these alignments and these frequencies, because they are yours. The language of light is ours. It belongs to everybody. And so just connect in. I don't have a focus, because to have a focus would be for me to throw my ego into it. And so I simply bring myself into alignment. I set my little ego to the side, and then I ask, what is it that you want to share with people? And then I wait for the transmission to start. And so that's what I'm doing when you see me just pause. Be ahtaye el okoi, o me she ahom bobohea dai inuko, o lea antai e pi ako e mechi buinda, ane antaye leo o kipa, po e mapa ye shel ochi, ko e bahantai e nama dobia, andea alaye heke o koiba. Boy e fi ahapai neme one a ade ala ye shell o koi kaipi ho e mamahia antipe akolo boki apai enemo unti anai ula ha ye epe oeta uteke olehem echi. So some people will ask me sometimes, what did you just say? And in my awareness, there is no translation for the language of light, because to try and put those or that amount of frequencies and information into English words is just impossible. And also, it's not meant for you to translate it. It's meant to bypass your human ego of fear and judgment and just do what it needs to do for your awareness. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for allowing me to share this part with you.